Imagine waking up one day and realizing that everything you've ever believed to be real, the world around you, the people you meet, even your own identity, might just be part of a grand illusion. Think about it. What if reality itself is a carefully woven veil, designed not to deceive but to teach? What if humanity has been living inside a cosmic experiment, guided by ancient forces who left behind clues so that one day, when the time was right, we could awaken? This is what the ancient writings attributed to Thoth suggest, a prophecy hidden within the Emerald Tablets, one that speaks of the end of illusion and the beginning of a new age of awareness. Throughout history, the name Thoth has been whispered by mystics, alchemists, and philosophers as the keeper of secret wisdom, the one who holds the knowledge of life and death, of the visible and the invisible. His words are not merely teachings, but keys, designed to unlock dimensions within the human mind that have long been asleep. Before we dive into the mystery, make sure you subscribe to this channel, leave a like, and share your thoughts in the comments. Because today we're not just exploring ancient history, we're unveiling a truth that may change the way you see your existence. Stay until the end, because the final revelation is the most powerful of all, a truth that connects your consciousness to the very architecture of reality itself. For thousands of years, humanity has sought to understand what is real. Philosophers like Plato described the world as shadows projected on the walls of a cave, illusions masking the higher forms of truth. In the same way, Thoth revealed that our physical world is but a reflection of higher planes, realms of energy and light that shape the matter we perceive. He spoke of 7 planes of existence, each governed by universal laws, and taught that humans could ascend through them by mastering the mind. The illusion, he said, is not a punishment but a test, a veil that hides the truth until the seeker is ready to see beyond form. The Emerald Tablets are among the oldest and most mysterious esoteric texts known to humankind. In them, Thoth writes of his journey from Atlantis to Egypt, of his mastery over life and death, and of his promise to return when the time of great awakening comes. He warned of cycles, of civilizations rising and falling, each time forgetting the divine truth of their origin. Man is a flame bound to a mountain of clay, Thoth says, reminding us that our physical existence is temporary, yet our consciousness is eternal. The illusion, therefore, is not the enemy. It is the stage on which the soul remembers itself. But what did Thoth truly mean by the end of the illusion? Was it a prophecy about the collapse of civilization or a transformation of human consciousness? Many scholars and mystics believe it refers to a moment when humanity collectively awakens to its divine nature, when the veil of separation dissolves, and we remember that all things are one. This awakening, they say, is not merely symbolic, but real, a shift in frequency that allows us to perceive the hidden order behind chaos. It's what modern quantum physicists have begun to glimpse when they speak of reality as a field of energy responding to observation. The ancients knew it long before science could measure it. Consciousness creates reality. And this is where Thoth's prophecy becomes more relevant than ever. He spoke of a time when knowledge would return to the earth, when the children of light would rise again, breaking free from the illusions of fear, greed, and control. He described the end of illusion as the dawn of remembrance, when mankind would finally understand that divinity lies not above, but within. Could it be that this time has come? Look around. The old systems of belief are crumbling. Institutions once seen as unshakable now tremble under the weight of truth. People are questioning everything: the nature of power, the fabric of society, and even the meaning of existence itself. Thoth's prophecy was never about destruction, but transformation. He spoke of the illusion ending not through apocalypse, but through awakening. And perhaps as we stand on the threshold of a new era, this ancient message has begun to echo once again in our collective mind. What if the end of illusion is not something that happens to the world, but something that happens within us? As we journey deeper into Thoth's hidden prophecy, we'll uncover the ancient mechanisms that sustain the illusion and the forgotten practices that allow one to see through it. In the next part, we'll explore how Thoth described the architecture of the illusion itself, the spiritual mechanisms that trap consciousness in cycles of forgetfulness, and the ancient keys he left behind to break free. Because to understand the end, we must first understand the beginning. To understand the end of the illusion, we must first understand how it began. Thoth spoke of a time when humanity lived in harmony with the higher planes, when man and the divine were not separate, but one. In those primordial days, consciousness was fluid. Humans could move freely between worlds of matter and spirit. But as Thoth revealed, a great distortion occurred. The light of consciousness descended into denser realms, and the mind became bound by form. This descent was not a fall in the moral sense, but a cosmic necessity, a way for the divine to experience itself through limitation. The illusion was born the moment we forgot that we were creators within creation. Thoth described this descent as the binding of the soul to the wheel of time. The eternal became finite. The infinite was confined within the boundaries of the physical. He wrote that souls entered cycles of reincarnation, returning again and again to learn, to experience, and to remember. Yet with each return, the veil thickened. Humanity began to identify not with spirit, but with matter. We forgot the higher realms from which we came, and the illusion became our home. Think about that. How many times have you felt that something is missing, that invisible ache for something beyond this world, as if your soul remembers something your mind cannot? That feeling is not an illusion. It is the echo of truth. Thoth called it the fire of remembrance, the divine spark that refuses to be extinguished, no matter how deep the illusion goes. It is this spark that guides seekers to the path of awakening. According to Thoth, the illusion of reality is maintained by what he called vibrations of form. Everything that exists vibrates at a specific frequency. These frequencies create layers, from the densest material forms to the most subtle planes of consciousness. The illusion persists when human awareness is trapped within the lower frequencies of fear, desire, and separation. To transcend the illusion, one must raise their vibration through knowledge, will, and spiritual discipline. Man is what he believes himself to be, Thoth wrote, revealing that perception itself is the architect of reality. Ancient Egyptian initiates who followed Thoth's teachings were trained to manipulate these vibrations through sound, symbol, and intention. They understood that reality is malleable, not fixed. Temples were constructed not just as places of worship, but as energetic machines, resonant chambers designed to alter consciousness. The hieroglyphs carved on their walls were not mere decorations. They were sacred codes that mirrored cosmic principles. Through rituals, chants, and meditations, the initiate would gradually awaken the higher centers of perception, what later traditions called the eye of the mind or the third eye. Once opened, this inner sight would pierce through the illusion of separateness, revealing the unity of all things. Modern science has begun to echo these ancient truths. Quantum physics now suggests that observation shapes reality, that particles exist in states of potential until they are seen. Consciousness, then, is not a passive observer, but an active creator. Thoth's prophecy anticipated this revelation thousands of years ago. He said that when humanity rediscovers that thought creates form, the illusion will begin to dissolve. The end of illusion is not the end of the world. It is the awakening of perception. But if reality is shaped by thought, why does suffering persist? Thoth answered this through the principle of polarity, one of the Hermetic laws. Everything contains its opposite. Light and darkness, life and death, truth and deception are not enemies, but two sides of the same whole. The illusion exists because the human mind still perceives duality. Only when consciousness transcends opposites can it see the unity beyond them. This is why Thoth said, "He who understands polarity holds the scepter of power." To end the illusion, we must rise above judgment, beyond fear, beyond the need to divide reality into good and evil. Yet, few are ready for this truth. Thoth warned that the greatest danger lies in mistaking awakening for knowledge. True enlightenment, he said, is not knowing about the illusion, but living beyond it. Many seek knowledge as power, but the wise seek knowledge as liberation. The illusion does not end by destroying the world outside, but by transforming the world within. So what are the forces that sustain this illusion? Ancient texts suggest that certain energetic structures, patterns of thought and emotion, act as anchors, keeping humanity asleep. These patterns feed on attention. Fear, anger, and division strengthen them, while awareness dissolves them. Thoth described them as shadows feeding on the flame of man's mind. Every time we react unconsciously, every time we believe we are separate from others, we nourish the illusion. But when we become aware, when we choose peace over fear, understanding over judgment, we weaken its hold. The prophecy tells us that as more souls awaken, the collective vibration of humanity will rise and the illusion will begin to fracture. This process, Thoth said, will not be easy. It will bring chaos, for the old structures of thought must collapse to make space for the new. But from the ruins of illusion, a higher order will emerge, one aligned with truth, harmony, and divine law. We are living, perhaps, in the very time Thoth foresaw. The old illusions are dissolving, the veils are thinning. Humanity stands at the edge of remembrance, facing a choice: to remain bound by the illusion of form, or to reclaim our birthright as beings of light. In the next part, we will uncover how Thoth said this great awakening would unfold, the signs, the transformations, and the hidden forces guiding humanity toward the end of illusion. The next revelation is even more powerful, because it reveals that the end is not coming from outside, but from within the awakened human soul. Thoth's prophecy speaks not of doom, but of revelation. He described an age when the world would be enveloped in confusion, when the truth would be twisted by the hands of those who sought control, and when humankind would forget the sacred science of the soul. Yet he also said that in that very moment of darkness, the light would begin to stir once again. "From the shadows shall rise the children of the light," Thoth wrote, "and they shall break the chains of ignorance by the power of remembrance." Could it be that this age is now? All around us, the signs Thoth spoke of seem to echo through our world. A global awakening is stirring, people questioning what they were taught, seeking meaning beyond material success, feeling a deep pull towards something timeless and infinite. Systems built on illusion are beginning to crumble, and humanity stands on the threshold of transformation. The prophecy, it seems, is not a far-off event. It is happening within us, here and now. Thoth taught that before the end of illusion, there would come what he called the Great Disturbance. It would not be a war of nations or a punishment from the gods, but a storm within the collective consciousness. Humanity would face the mirror of its own creation. All the falsehoods, all the deceptions, all the structures built upon illusion would surface for all to see. Chaos would reign, not because the world is ending, but because the truth is emerging. He compared it to the alchemical process, the burning away of impurities before gold is revealed. Look at the world today, the conflict between truth and deception, the rise of awareness, the questioning of authority. What if all this turmoil is not the fall of civilization, but its purification? Thoth's prophecy suggests that the illusion must shatter before clarity can emerge. The breaking of the old is not destruction, it is rebirth. The veil must tear before the light can enter. Thoth explained that this awakening would happen in waves, as energy frequencies from higher planes begin to resonate with the human mind. The children of light, as he called them, are souls who came into this age with the purpose of remembering, individuals who feel a profound sense of mission, who sense that their awakening is not personal, but part of something vast. These souls, through their awareness, become anchors of light in the world, helping to stabilize the collective vibration. Each awakened mind acts as a point of illumination, gradually dissolving the darkness of illusion that has veiled humanity for millennia. Science, too, hints at this process. Our planet is not isolated. It is bathed in cosmic radiation, magnetic fields, and waves of energy that constantly interact with our biology. Studies show that the human brain and heart generate electromagnetic fields that can synchronize with external frequencies. Thoth's teachings anticipated this long ago. He said that when the vibration of the earth changes, so too will the consciousness of humanity. The end of the illusion, then, is not only spiritual, it is energetic. It is the synchronization of human consciousness with the higher harmonic of the cosmos. But Thoth also warned that not all would be ready for this transition. The illusion has its defenders, forces that thrive in ignorance and fear. They will resist the light, feeding confusion and division to maintain control. Yet even they, Thoth said, are part of the divine plan, for resistance strengthens the will of the awakened. The seeker who walks the path of light must not battle darkness with hatred, but dissolve it with understanding. For hatred binds one to the illusion, while love liberates. He wrote, "Fear is the gatekeeper of illusion. Love is the key. The more we act from love not as sentiment, but as awareness of unity, the more the illusion loses power. Love is the vibration that transcends polarity. the force that reveals the truth hidden beneath appearances. When humanity rediscovers this frequency, Thoth said, "The false walls shall crumble, and the hidden chambers of the heart shall open." And perhaps this is the ultimate transformation Thoth foresaw, not an external event, but an internal revolution, the awakening of the heart consciousness. Modern mystics speak of this as the shift from mental intelligence to divine intelligence, from intellect to intuition. When we begin to feel rather than think our connection to all life, the illusion dissolves. The universe stops being something out there and becomes something in here. Many ancient cultures spoke of a golden age, a time of harmony between spirit and matter. Thoth's prophecy aligns with these myths, describing a future where humanity transcends the cycle of birth and forgetfulness, becoming once again conscious co-creators with the divine. "Man shall rise as the sun," he wrote, "and his light shall join with the source from whence it came." This return is not a regression to the past, but an evolution into a higher octave of existence. But how can one prepare for this transition? How can an individual participate in the end of illusion? Thoth's message is clear: through remembrance. The seeker must reclaim the memory of their true nature by purifying thought, mastering emotion, and aligning will with truth. The process begins within. When enough individuals awaken, the collective dream shifts and the illusion fades. Each soul becomes a mirror, reflecting the light of the source. And when enough mirrors shine, the world itself begins to glow. As we move closer to the final revelation, we must ask ourselves, what happens after the illusion ends? What lies beyond the veil of matter and mind? Thoth promised that the answer to this question holds the greatest secret of all, a secret that reveals not only who we are, but why we came here. In the final part, we will uncover this hidden truth, the real meaning of the end of illusion, the purpose of human existence, and the destiny of the soul after awakening. Thoth's last revelation is not just the end of deception, it is the beginning of eternity. Thoth's final revelation begins with a sentence that echoes through eternity: "The end is the beginning, and the beginning is the end." For the uninitiated, these words sound like a riddle, but to the awakened they are the key to freedom. The end of the illusion is not destruction, it is the return to truth. It is not the annihilation of reality, but the remembrance of what has always been real. When the illusion dissolves, what remains is consciousness, pure, luminous awareness that observes without judgment, creates without attachment, and loves without condition. Thoth called this state the light of lights, the source from which all creation flows. Every soul, he said, is a fragment of that infinite brilliance, dreaming itself into existence to experience the dance of creation. The illusion was never meant to imprison us. It was designed to help us remember what we are by making us forget. Only by walking through darkness can light recognize itself. As the Emerald Tablets reveal, Thoth foresaw that when humanity awakens from this grand dream, we will no longer see the universe as something external. The stars above and the soul within will be recognized as the same essence, reflections of the one mind. He wrote, "Man shall know himself as light, and in that knowing shall become eternal." This is the destiny of every soul, to remember, awaken and merge again with the source of all being, not by escaping the world, but by seeing through it. Imagine a moment when the boundaries of self dissolve, when you look into another's eyes and no longer see separation, when nature itself speaks to you not in words but in vibration, in rhythm, in presence. That is the end of illusion, the realization that everything you ever sought was never outside of you. The divine was always within, patiently waiting for recognition. Thoth taught that the awakened soul becomes a creator among creators. Once the veil is lifted, perception transforms. Time becomes fluid. Past, present, and future merge into one eternal now. Life ceases to be a series of events and becomes a living symphony of consciousness unfolding. The awakened being no longer seeks purpose. They are purpose. Every thought becomes an act of creation. Every breath becomes an affirmation of divinity. This is the true meaning of the return of the gods that so many ancient texts speak of. It is not that celestial beings will descend from the sky, it is that humanity will rise to its rightful place among them. We are the descendants of the divine, the heirs of light. The gods we once worshipped were reflections of what we could become. The end of illusion is the moment we realize that the divine hierarchy was never above us. It was within us, waiting to awaken. Modern science is slowly catching up to this cosmic truth. Quantum theory suggests that consciousness and matter are intertwined, that the universe may be a holographic projection of information, an infinite field of energy expressing itself through form. Thoth revealed this long ago when he wrote, "All is mind and the universe is mental." The illusion ends when we understand that thought is not confined to the brain, but is the very substance of reality. We are not observers of the universe. We are the universe observing itself. But Thoth also left a warning. The end of illusion brings immense freedom, yet with freedom comes responsibility. He who knows himself as light must shine, he said, for to awaken and yet remain passive is to betray the gift of awareness. The awakened soul becomes a beacon, guiding others through the fog of forgetfulness. Each act of kindness, each moment of truth, each gesture of love contributes to the great awakening. The illusion cannot withstand truth, for truth vibrates at the frequency of creation itself. The ultimate secret of Thoth's prophecy, hidden between the lines of his ancient texts, is that the universe itself is alive and conscious, and that it learns through us. We are not trapped in an illusion imposed from outside. We are co-creators of it. The divine experiments through our experiences, growing, expanding, and evolving. In that sense, even the illusion was sacred. Every struggle, every pain, every joy, all of it was part of the cosmic remembrance. The end of illusion, therefore, is not rejection of the world, but the sanctification of it. In that sacred moment when the illusion fades, the seeker realizes that nothing was ever lost. Every lifetime, every forgotten dream, every fall into ignorance, all were steps toward awakening. The soul, like the phoenix of ancient Egypt, must burn in its own ashes to be reborn in light. This is why Thoth said, "When the shadow dies in the heart, the light is eternal." The death of illusion is not the end of life, it is the beginning of true existence. As humanity stands at the edge of this transformation, each of us faces a choice: to cling to the comfort of the known, or to leap into the infinite. The path ahead is not easy, but it is magnificent. Thoth's voice calls to every seeker across the ages. Awaken, O man, from the sleep of ages, and remember thyself as the child of the light. When the illusion ends, there will be no apocalypse, only revelation. The heavens will not fall, they will open. The earth will not perish, it will ascend. And the soul at last will remember its divine origin. The prophecy is not of destruction, but of union, the return of humanity to the eternal light from which it was born. So remember, the illusion was never your enemy, it was your teacher. And when you awaken, you will see that the dream was perfect, for it led you back to yourself. If these words resonate with you, if something deep within you feels the truth of Thoth's ancient message, share this wisdom. Let it echo through time as his words once did. For every awakened soul adds a spark to the great fire of remembrance, and together we ignite the dawn of a new reality. Thanks for looking.